Hey, it's Robert Mason from the band Warrant, and if you're not in the now, you're in the nothing.
So you guys are out doing the Chill Bike Fest here in Wichita tonight.
Yeah, this is a cool event.
Yeah, definitely. This is our first time covering it.
And the owner's really cool. He's just a car and bike guy.
Mm-hmm.
So are we. So, you know, there you go. We're in the middle of this big hall.
Yeah. Now,
so if we get interrupted, that's what it is. It's just we're in the middle of a big hall.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are okay? Sorry.
Hey, it's rock and roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not to be it's not meant
it's
to be
live right
perfect.
now, but it's recorded and you'll see it. But it's what's happening. Forget it. Your next question.
Yeah. So you guys are one of the few bands that I would consider the weekend warriors, the guys who go out and do the shows on the weekends.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just turned out to be a better way for us to tour. If we go out and hit a couple of cities, mostly commercial air travel, and then get home, spend a couple of nights in our own beds, it's a really efficient way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Log a lot of frequent flyer miles.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's always a plus. Now, do you find this more comfortable for you doing like the one-off shows like this than going out and doing the full 90-day tour?
Well, I don't know. I like both kinds.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just the cheap answer. I really do. I mean, I love nothing better than getting on the bus and going. But you inevitably spend a Tuesday, an off day, or because we're trying to gear it more toward doing shows like this, like the spring and summer festival stuff,
Mm-hmm.
state fair stuff, pairings with other bands where we'll do direct support or we'll headline and then have a second and third band under us. So putting all that together, it's just the better touring model for us now is just jump on a plane and do 1, 2, 3, or 4 of those in a row and then fly back home.
Do you think doing something like that is more profitable for the bands?
Well, yeah, if it wasn't, we'd be doing it a different way. We're figuring it out, yeah.
Now, with doing shows like this, what would you say one of the most strangest events Warren has played since you've been with the band?
I don't know. They're pretty much what you expect them to be. We got hired to play Rib Fest.
Interesting.
I think we were in St. Louis a few years ago.
Did you get some free ribs out of that?
I got all sorts of carcass out of that. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, very much so. I
Can't really complain about that.
Bike rallies, do a bunch of the festival shows throughout the season, and casino shows are often really cool. I mean, great rooms. They treat you really well. The crew there knows what they're doing, so we can travel really light, and we know we're going to get there, and there are competent people working there to make you look good and sound good.
You're not going to get the crappy back line.
Right, exactly. We have a rider. You kind of dictate what you want, and everything's there that you didn't bring when you get there.
Now, what kind of let's go a little bit ways back in time a little bit with you. When you first got brought into the Warrant family, do you remember what it was like the first time you went in and actually just jammed with the guys? You remember what that was like?
Yeah, I came out from my house in Phoenix and spent the weekend with Joey Allen, and we installed ourselves in a dingy, dirty little rehearsal space, like a small little hole in the wall box of a room, about this size, honestly, and just played flat out wide open, on the house gear, kind of to see what it would sound like, and it was fun. I mean, I was a fan. Janie and I were really good friends. It was our friendship was the main reason why Lynch Mob ended up opening for Warrant when you saw us back in '92. So I've known those guys that long. He and I met when we were recording I was recording vocals for that Lynch Mob record in Los Angeles. So I knew them. We kind of reconnected at that Rocklahoma in whatever that was, 07, 7, 08, whatever it was. It felt great. We just got in there and banged out a bunch of songs. By the 5th or 6th one, we all looked around and were smiling, so it was easy.
Now, I know there's probably been the die-hard Warrant fans that are like, it's not Janie singing. Have you experienced that at all? Or
really, I haven't. I mean, one or two people that don't really understand what the situation was. I love these in the background.
Yeah.
These are really cool too. I'm looking for a squelch button in these. Hey, can I get on there and talk to people?
I'm sure you could.
We'll try to do an interview. Click. This interview's over. Honestly, the Warrant fans have been really gracious and very cool. I think there was one show a couple of years ago in Los Angeles where some guy was trying to heckle me in between songs and say some random bullshit, and I kind of didn't want to be mean to him, but I just kind of buried him with a couple of words and then went on and then kind of won the crowd over. And I did not know this, but there was a relatively well-known rock journalist in the audience covering that show, and he was a huge, Warrant fan back in the day, and he and Janie were really tight, and he said some really nice things in the interview. So, it's a difficult position to be put in, I suppose, but I mean, I'm there for all the right reasons. We were friends. I had his endorsement to do this while he was still alive, and, nobody meant any ill will, so I have a lot of respect for the guy. He was a great songwriter. He was a good friend to me. End of story. If somebody wants to, crap on me in some way, that's just, hater speak. I hear it.
Yeah.
I don't really care. There's very little of it, very thankfully.
That's good.
I don't mean to interrupt, but are you part of the Warrant band?
Yeah, we're doing an interview right now.
Yeah,
I just wanted to tell you, I grew up with your music in high school.
Turn that radio.
Thank you. I will tell everybody.
My name's Alex Valdez.
We're playing in about 35 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to be out there, bro.
Cool. Yeah, this is a really cool event. I really like this. I mean, I'm like a car and motorcycle guy, so.
Yeah, I grew up with
dig
your songs, everything, with your music.
Well,
everything.
it'll be loud and fun.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Nice.
Well, cool, man. Great to meet you.
It's great to meet you. It's an honor. It's an honor.
Oh, man. We're just in a rock band having fun. I get to do this for a living. I get to make people happy.
I never thought in my wildest days,
Oh, man. Well, that's very nice.
Take care, man. Peace.
You too. There you go.
Definitely, yeah. Right
Art
there.
imitates life.
Exactly.
Or forget it. I'm mixing all my metaphors today. Bird in the hand is the stitch in time.
Something like that, yeah.
It's more honey with bees. I don't know. Go ahead.
Now let's talk about sitting down and writing new material with the guys from Warrant. What's that like? Bringing your input in with those guys.
I know I've said this before in interviews. Early on, Jerry Dixon and I kind of sat down and said, well, we should probably start writing. So we really took our time. I mean, from the first 3-4 months I was in the band, he came to me and was like, hey, Macy, write songs. You're a songwriter. You're going to be the singer in this band. Let's write a record. So we just went through the very easy process of just each submitting ideas. He and I to each other at first, and then everybody kind of puts their 2 cents in. And even if I come to the band with something, or Jerry does, or whatever, that's completely done, so to speak, everybody still has to play on it and make it their own. Joey sounds like Joey when he plays. Steven does all his backgrounds and sounds like Steven. To me, it sounds like Warrant. So.
Now, the last time Warrant was through Wichita, I believe, was the Whitesnake tour.
We were here, was it a little less than 2 years ago?
Something like that,
Yeah.
What was that whole
Was that
thing?
Hartman Arena?
Yeah, Hartman, yeah. One of my favorite concert venues here in town.
It was great. It was really cool. I remember that as being a great show.
What was that whole experience like, going out with the legends of Whitesnake?
It's funny, I had not met David, but we had been in the same room like years ago, and we knew a lot of the same people. I've worked with Keith Olsen making a few records, and Keith did the '87 record and the Slip of the Tongue record. Actually, he took over and redid the end of Slide It In, so I think he's been involved with a few records. And I know everybody in their band. Doug Aldrich is a total bro, an amazing player, Rhett Beach. I mean, they all are.
Yeah, they're just high caliber players.
Yeah, and Brian Tishy, who was a drummer at the time, and I kind of almost grew up in Jersey, around the same area.
Yeah, I've known Brian for many years.
We were both, punk musician kids, although he went to Berkeley. He had a degree and I was just a hack.
Yeah.
Not really, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is, it's very familiar territory. We're all just, in it for a lot of the same reasons. Those guys have a lot of integrity. David is the consummate performer, and you know, he's a guy who I looked up to immensely. You know, when I was younger, and still do. I mean, not like I don't now, but you know, now meeting him, having to burst into our band room like 10 minutes before we went on. You know, I just, hey, great to see you. You know, and just grabbed me and you know, shook my hand, gave me a big hug, thanked us for being out there, and you know, David Coverdale style, and in and out of the room in about 5 minutes.
Nice.
And I talked to him a little bit afterwards too, so it was really cool. It was great. I've been very fortunate to meet a lot of people that I looked up to and that were very formative and you know, almost mentoring to me throughout the years. So I'm really, really blessed with that.
Now you've been in the music scene for many, many years now.
I'm 72, actually. Long
Nice.
time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Stay in school, kids. Wow, I've had too much coffee today. You're gonna have to edit this. You're gonna edit that? All right.
With
Bad hotel coffee. It was like completely. What was I trying to say?
is it bad or is it good though?
I was
Because it
trying
could be
to
bad
say,
because it could be good because it's giving you your pep
stay in
and your
school, kids. I don't know what I was trying to say.
But through the years of being a musician, you've dealt with the different things with like promotional items and stuff like that, promoting the bands. Here we've got Facebook, Twitter, things like that, Reverb Nation. How do you think those things have affected you, and have you embraced those yourself?
I do, not so much personally, but for the bands, and it makes it easier in a way. I mean, the thing about recording technology, social network and everything like that, you can make a record in your bedroom, put a video to it with a couple of GoPro cameras, edit it down and put it on YouTube, and it could be amazing comparatively. You know, and it brings so much more to the whole DIY guerrilla approach to having a band. And I think the outmoded, antiquated model of, you know, write songs, do showcases, get a record deal with the big label and all that stuff is just that. So it's changed a lot.
See, and like with Warrant, I mean, Warrant's not on a major record label. I mean, huge major record label. But I mean, look at you guys. You're out playing shows, you know, sold out shows, and
the live show
still
thing
selling records too.
And that's the thing. We came out with a record in 2011, and that we were really proud of, and thankfully, it sold really well. It was regarded pretty highly. I mean, that's a huge compliment. You know, people like.
Because
you know, Eddie
fans
Trunk
nowadays,
loves it.
nowadays
I like
are real.
Trunk likes me. Eddie likes our record. Yay.
Fans nowadays are real particular about what they're listening to and what they're buying, and you know that speaks numbers when you guys are still selling records and people are still supporting the band.
Hugely thankful for that. That's the biggest compliment. That right there is the endorsement of the fans. You know, they come here to hear, even if you're only here for nostalgia, and you hear most of those songs that, you know, people know by heart and they sing along, and that's huge for me, is to get people to kind of embrace it and be interactive with the show. I don't want it to be like a movie. You know, I'm up there sweating, it's a real live rock band, you know, screaming and stomping and making a bunch of noise, and hopefully
You're not
getting your
Milli
attention.
Vanilli or New Kids
No,
on the
not at
Block.
all.
Yeah.
No, or any other, But you know the type. I've never been about that. I love performing live. So the fact that people will still come out and see a show, like you said, and pick up a CD on the way out, coolest thing in the world.
Something that I'm going to start asking in my interviews, I'm going to kind of break the ice with you with this question is...
Beta testing questions right now.
Exactly. When you're on stage and you're performing, has there ever been a moment where you just kind of got lost and the lyrics just kind of went out of your head?
Not really. I used to have a thing. I remember one very early Lynch Mob show. It could have been a club tour before we even wrote our record. I was first in the band, like a week or two. So literally it was, you know, crash course, learn all these songs, go out, and they tried to kill me on tour and tried to do like, you know, 14 shows in 12 days. And that's the truth. Like the last two were doubles.
Wow.
We did early shows and then late shows. So they were just trying to beat me to death and see if it worked, you know, and if I didn't, it was like, okay, we can keep this guy. I remember then one of the one of the bigger shows we played on that might have been a big theater or whatever. And at the time, the band thankfully had enough, cred, and we could fill it up, and it was really cool. But I was brand new. I remember Mick counting down. I'm hearing sticks go, and I look at Anthony and go, "What's the first word of this song?" Mm-hmm. And it was just nothing. And it seems like it's, it goes by in the blink of an eye, but it was all absolute slow motion. Mm-hmm. And I just took a huge breath and opened up my mouth, and the right words came out. I don't even remember what song it was, but I just look at Ann, and I'm like, grab him in a headlock. I'm like, dude, what's the first? Because it's the intro of the song, and it's loud. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he was loud as hell back then. George's playing it was just louder over there than it is over here. So I go to Anthony first. I go, dude, what's the first word? And he looks at me and just laughs. So I spin and I go find Lynch. And I get like nose to nose with him because he's doing the George Lynch thing when he's like in his guitar. And I go like this, and I put a finger up, and I make eye contact with him. I go, first word, and he goes, I don't know. And I just like, oh, okay, well, I'm completely on my own now. Mm-hmm. But thankfully, it just happened. I just took a deep breath.
It came out naturally.
Smacked myself in the back of the head to get the words out to the front of my brain, and it just came out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't really happen. But I like making the audience sing though.
That's cool.
Maybe I should feign that I don't remember the words, and then they'll. Can you guys help me? Another tactic. Mm-hmm.
Now, is there any one particular Warrant song that you see the fans getting more into than any others? Because I know the fans like all the classic Warrant songs, but is there any one moment on stage where you're just like, man, this is just fucking badass that everyone's singing the lyrics? And
it happens on several of them, thankfully. On the right night, you set the right vibe out there, and you see everybody sing along with, the choruses that they know. Mm-hmm. It's fun to see the total hardcore fan, and then you're playing something like Mr. Rainmaker or whatever, that you don't hear too often on the radio. Mm-hmm. And there's somebody that you can see, like in the first, 5, 10, 15 rows or whatever, and you just eye lock with them, and they're singing every word. Mm-hmm. That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
That's, it's great when we do songs off our new record, and people know them at all. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. I mean, we got radio play. Last year, 2011, 2012, we got a bunch of radio play, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. I love that. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest reward.
Now, on the latest Warrant record, do you have a personal favorite song on that record? You kind of just love all of them?
Yeah, I mean, for my own reasons, I like Home. It was a song that just came to me in about 5 minutes. Sitting on my patio and outside Phoenix, in the morning with a cup of coffee and an old acoustic. My favorite old Martin, I like everybody's got their baby. I have a favorite old acoustic guitar that was given to me, thankfully, by somebody who was really instrumental to me. And I was just, told by them, here, this has been in my family for a long time. You go write some good songs on it. And that was just the most overwhelming gift. You feel like, I'm not worthy. Mm-hmm. And then you go write a few songs and you feel like, okay, I've kind of, carry on the ever completing circle,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But probably that one. I don't know, there are a few. Mm-hmm.
Now, if we were to pick up your iPod or your portable music player, what would be the last song you listened to? Do you remember what that is?
Wow, the last song I listened to?
Or maybe the last artist?
Something off of... I had a weird day. I was in a hotel in Des Moines, Iowa. And a couple of songs from Danko Jones, Below the Belt.
Ah, nice, sir.
And also Strangest. What else was I listening to? All right. Something from Squeeze, East Side Story.
Ah, nice.
They were such a cool band.
Yeah, oh yeah.
2 singers singing in octaves, most of the time, and what a brilliant record that was back then.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot of stuff. A couple songs off the newer Van Halen record that I really liked. That's about it. That's the latest.
Yeah. A little bit of everything. Nice.
And I listen to old stuff a lot. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, like I'm a big Frank Sinatra fan. Mm-hmm. And people look at me and they're like, Frank Sinatra? Are you serious?
You're allowed.
But that was, he was the ultimate musician in my opinion, and everybody else's opinion as well.
He had really cool phrasing and delivery. Mm-hmm. that I really like. I appreciate his as much as I appreciate the way Paul Rogers does it. Steals around the beat. Like Sinatra would just steal around the way the orchestra was playing or whatever it was, you know what I mean, whatever the instrumentation and the arrangement was. And he had a way of phrasing that I always found interesting.
Yeah.
My dad was a Sinatra freak, so I listened to a lot of that as a kid.
Goosebumps, just talking about him, I get goosebumps. But I mean, just you know, the ultimate musician, and you know, in my opinion, and you know, it's me being all tattooed out, and you know, big metal fan, and
well, he could deliver a song. That's the thing, and he knew what he was doing, and he knew his voice so well. He was an amazing entertainer.
Oh yeah. Now, kind of on that subject, do you have a you know, personal favorite musician or singer that kind of has been a big influence on your career?
Probably a bunch of them. Everybody from Frank Sinatra and Sam Cooke and Otis Redding to Paul Rogers, Rod Stewart, you know, Roger Daltrey, the ever-present Robert Plant, Ian Gillan, Janis Joplin. Let's see, Baby Jane from Mother's Finest, who was like Shaka Khan before Shaka Khan was Shaka Khan.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yep.
I don't know, a lot of singers like that have a lot. Oh, Steve Marriott. I'm sorry.
Nice.
One of the huge ones that never got his due. Who was just amazing. One of the best frontmen ever. You take a little David Lee Roth. You take a little of all that. You know.
Oh yeah.
That's probably where I get a lot of the talking to hecklers thing.
Nice.
I don't think anybody's ever been better than Dave at that.
Oh, no.
Bury a guy in 5 words or less.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you on that. So.
Oh shoot, man, we're like 20 minutes from going on stage.
Yeah, I was getting ready to wrap this up.
I'm gonna go scream into a towel and warm up a little bit. And
well, we definitely appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat.
Yeah, man, my
with us.
pleasure.
Definitely.
Thank you much.